Okay. We're live. All right, this is going to be the astrology for the week of the 15th through the 21st. Okay. So, like I said, these are going to be general. Astrology reports is just showing you where the planets are, where they are in the houses. And if you looked at the tarot, then you would know I put in the astrology chart on there so you can see with your sun being in the first house and what houses, so you can associate with it. So let's go ahead and jump over into the astrology and let's see. Okay, I think that's what we got now. All righty. Let me set the screen up. Okay, so I can see. Make it larger. All right, we're going to start off with the 15th. Jupiter, or Venus, as you can see, I have Venus trines Jupiter. And if you're looking at the chart, you'll see that it is a trine to Jupiter. 20 degrees, 23 minutes in. And this is around 1:34 in the morning. Venus is in the 7th house. It's in the house of Libra, the house it rules. And Jupiter Venus is kind of feeding some help to Jupiter here. Because Jupiter is in Gemini, opposite its house of rulership. So when that happens, a planet that's opposite its house of rulership, they call it detriment. It's weak, it's negative, it's repressed, and it's dealing with the house of communications or the house of sharing with a partner. Partner may be sharing with you. Maybe you're in need. Maybe they're trying to expand things with you. Maybe they're communicating with you a lot more. But it's maybe somewhat repressed, maybe not so much what you would like to hear. They may be repressing their feelings. They may be holding back somewhat of healing in this sort of situation as well. Because they just, for some reason, maybe something's going on with them, and they just can't express what they would like to express. They just feel like maybe things aren't just going well for them, and they just don't want to bring you down too, or maybe they're trying to support you in some way, and you're not the one sharing with your partner, but they're trying to be supportive. Let's just put it that way. I kind of feel like they're trying to support you in some way, or you were trying to support them in some way. But it's sort of that give and take. And this is happening early in the morning hours. So I'm not gonna dwell on it too much, because for you it would be different depending on where you're at. Like I said, this is early morning hours for me. It's like 1:34 a.m. It's right after midnight, in an hour and a half after midnight. It's on a Sunday, so it could be where you both may be a little tired or something. Been a long day. It could be, not really that compassionate. Or like I said, there's something, either they're trying to be with you or you're trying to be with them. But it's like giving some energy there, trying to have an opportunity maybe with you, or because trines are those energies where uh, the creative self-expression, as well as trying to bring some ease and comfort, or that it brings the ease and comfort. Venus is trying to comfort. Venus is trying to ease things. So you may, and with you or me or them, wherever that is in there for them, something is weak and repressed, negative as well. And so you may miss it because of what you're feeling. You're feeling weak and kind of repressed and negative. You may not recognize that someone here values you, really do, but you don't recognize it. And so something there could be kind of missed. Trines also have a lot to do with productivity, vision, and insight. So it's having that insight to share something there, or they're trying to share with you. So then the moon is going to try and you can see the moon trying Venus, and it's also trying Jupiter. So it's this grand trine that it's trying to be very supportive. The emotions. Now this is, you may have noticed something, or somebody comes, and this is around 2:05 in the afternoon. It could have been a dream you may have had as well. So with me, you may share that dream or that vision you may have had during the night. And the moon is at 20 degrees and 26 minutes. So it's more, Venus did something during the night. And now it's affecting how you feel, the emotions. The moon reflects our intuition and our emotional world. So, you may be picking up on something, or you may miss something here with this grand trine, but it's all emotion and what you're feeling. Then about an hour later at 15:09 on 15th, we had the moon trines Venus. It's like a double. It was trying real heavy with Jupiter, but now it is trying with the same degrees as with Venus. It was like, it's kind of like you feel this intuition about something where somebody's maybe feeling that way. Like I said earlier, weak, repressed, sort of in a negative state. And then during the night, or rejections, may come in, or they don't want to get, they don't really share anything or whatever. But you notice there's something there. And then around 2:00 in the day, just after 2, there's that grand trine with the moon to Jupiter. So, and it's in Aquarius. And Aquarius being that sign of social, it's ruled by Saturn. And it may be, that energy of the moon getting ready to go into that full. You feel something here because we're getting ready to have an eclipse on the 17th, I believe it was. Yeah. This week, we're going to have an eclipse on the 17th. Tuesday. Mars will be ruling that day, as a matter of fact. It's time to let something go there. And it may get that feeling stronger and stronger that something needs to be released. You may have to share something. You may have to express something here. But then the moon later on, an hour or so later, then all of a sudden the moon's trying Venus at 3:09, almost 10 minutes after 3. There's something here that you may feel this thing. I've got to get something completed. I got to get it out. I got to get rid of it, whatever it is. Because as the moon gets closer and closer to the full moon, you may feel like you have to release something and let it go. Then the next thing we have is we have the moon sextiling Chiron. And we still got the grand trine going on here with Jupiter and Venus. Got some challenges going on as well, and some oppositions. So my best advice to this on this would be, with the moon sextiling Chiron, is to try and heal something, whatever it may be. It's the health. Chiron is the health of something. Something being unhealthy in the self. Maybe you're too aggressive going towards something. Maybe you're too driven to get something done, or the other person may be. And maybe, hopefully, there be an understanding, if it's you, that there's something maybe you feel like you've got to get done. And as much as you've got to focus on it and pay attention to it. Like, I'll give you a fine example of myself. My relationship, I explained to him that, I'm going to be doing this over the weekend because there's other things I want to do during the week around the home here. So I want to get this done. And, so he's okay with it, so he's being very understanding on that, which we always had that kind of relationship. So with this moon sextiling Chiron, this can very well be that because tomorrow I'll be completing, getting the other one done, and then I'll be finished. So, you can make something in the evening by releasing whatever it is you have to do, you have to get done. You don't feel like getting it done. And you've got maybe a partner there supporting you in it, of what needs to be done, and you can get it. 22 is the number of completion anyway. Whatever is you're conflicted with, or especially with Jupiter, being somewhat repressed, and you're not feeling like you're being very blessed, or there's nothing expansion or growing, and you just got to get this done to be able to move on from it. So we got that on the 15th. And then the next thing we have is we have the sun, which is in a quincunx with the moon. We also have a yod here, from what I see, with the moon being in that, with the moon being in that sextile to Chiron. And then the two quincunxes from Chiron to the sun, or the sun to Chiron and the sun to the moon, is like something, it's a sort of to make sure you take care of your own self here. Don't forget during the day, in your daily tasks or your routines, to take care of yourself. Think about you. And if you're pushing yourself too hard, or you're driving yourself too hard, and that'll be around 7:15 on my time. Remember, everything is my time that I have here. And mine is like -4 UT time. So you would -4 from that. And it'll give you your time wherever you're at. From what times I say. So that would go about with the rest of the day in the 24 hours. The sun's going to be ruling the day, so the very importance with the sun and its oppositions to, to release these emotions or release something here. Don't get yourself too stressed out. Don't push yourself too hard. Just focus on what you have to do. And I hope I did. Yeah. Just focus yourself on at the task at hand, and don't really over push it, or because you may miss something along the way. All right. I don't like that being in the thing, but got no choice there. All right, let's go ahead and go on to the 16th, which is going to be on uh-oh. Uh-oh. Don't want that. All right, on the 16th, it's going to be at nighttime at 1:03 in the morning. The night's being ruled by Jupiter. And the moon, the hour is the moon, 18th hour. This is the 14th hour of, or 14th day of the lunar, the cycle of the moon. And the moon is he's squaring Uranus. So there's something here in the second house. That's the house of our values. Things we gain or things we release, let go of. Remember, this is the house of food, monies. There could be a loss or a gain. It is retrograde. And so there's some sort of challenge here. Why most of this stuff for me is when I'm asleep. Now, for some of you others, it's 2710. And there's that Algor, that star that I talked about, cutting something out. And Mars being here, it's conjunct with the ascending. So there's something here in the fourth house of home that you may be trying to do something around the home, because this would be what is in the first house that's ascending, that's coming up. Because most of us are usually home at 1 o'clock in the morning, right? After midnight. So you may be trying to do something here, or you finish something. Hopefully I get this finished today. And the week will be done, but this will be on the 16th. The whole entire day is ruled by the sun. Night's ruled by Jupiter here, which we know is in opposition to something here that, again, until Jupiter gets over here in Cancer, when it gets in Cancer, it will be exalted. So it will be in a lot better shape, but it's going to be a while before it transits into Cancer. I don't have an exact date this moment, but just let you know, if you can work something out and get through this and deal with it, and learn these lessons, because everything that's retrograde over here and what's up, if you can learn these lessons and look at things and revisit things and reconstruct them, reorganize your life somehow, some way, and work on healing on things that need to be healed, need to be done, it can help you get through whatever this. Uh, I know a lot of us right now are probably going through a lot of things with the election and all that's coming up. And I know, like I said, like I said the other day, I wish this thing would hurry up and end. I'm so tired and sick of it. It's like it's consuming everybody. And I know people are getting really, really tired about it. Now, right after this, the moon's going to ingress into Pisces. And this is where we're going to have our lunar eclipse. And this is going to be at 5:38 in the morning when it moves into Pisces. Now, remember that the moon has effect on the ocean tides as well. And it does have a connection to Pisces, where fish live. They live in the ocean, water, emotions. Have Do not lose. I'm going to tell you this, please. Do not lose your faith, and hope. Sometimes when we're at our lowest point, the best thing we can do is to look at our faith, because usually when our faith is so low, we feel like, it comes in with, nothing changing, nothing, same old thing, blah blah blah. It's day in, day out, like with the thing with the election going on. It's like people are getting tired, so tired and so drained. Especially if you're living in the United States, or if you're somewhere else in another country, and y'all got, your own issues and problems in there, maybe with your government. I think everybody all over the world is struggling right now. We're not the only ones. So don't lose faith and don't lose hope, because we're often warned or told the more faith we have, because worrying about something is not going to not going to make it any better, and it's not going to make whatever happens any quicker. So what we have control over is what we need to go and keep working at, right? Whether it's a job or whatever, you're looking for a job, whatever may be going on, just don't lose your beautiful smiles and your kind hearts. Keep your values intact. There's no reason for anger or hostility or any of that, because it doesn't get you anywhere. It really, really doesn't. I like to use that example too of, somebody comes speeding around you just as fast as they can, and they, in a hurry or whatever. And then the next thing you know, they stopped at a red light, and here you come right along pulling up beside them. What did that get them? It didn't get nowhere any faster. Right? And then you just look at them and you smile. Not being arrogant or smart or anything like that, but just, well, I always kind of like say they must be really having a bad day. I mean, often they are. I mean, they're in a hurry to get nowhere. So at 5:38 in the morning, the moon's going to ingress into Pisces, and we're going to start to feel that we need to let go of whatever there is there that no longer serves us. It's time to release it. If it's anger, if it's something you're repressing and holding back on, it's cut it out of your life. Because if you can't do anything about it, why are you worrying about it? Why are you hanging on to it? Why are you letting yourself get so tense and so uptight and wound like a watch that, you're going to break the spring? Then what? You're doing nothing but harming your own health. and probably people don't want to be around you. So look at what you're putting out there. Look at what you're doing. And whatever it is, it's burdening you or feeling heavy on your heart, talk to somebody, a good friend. Find an ear that you can express what needs to be expressed. And get it out. Cut it out. Let it go. Now, the next thing that's going to happen is the moon here is going to try and... Did it switch over? Oh, I'm hitting the wrong thing. It's my fault. The moon's going to be trying Mars. So we're going to be going through something here from 5:38 in the morning, my time. And it's going to be on a Monday. Wait, everybody hates Mondays. The moon's ruling the day. We're going to have an eclipse. This is in the 10th hour of the day. So it's half the day. Just getting close to, well, it is quitting time. So it's like a blue Monday. And again, Jupiter's, Venus is trying to feed that energy. Like, look for the positive side. Whatever you got that you feel negative about, turn it into a positive. When if you're at work all day long and things aren't going good on Monday, and you're tired or you wore out or whatever it may be, go to your happy place. Think of something that when you look in that bath, you go to the washroom, you go use the restroom, you go to wash your hands, and you're looking in the mirror and smile at yourself and say, you're okay. You're okay. Everything's going to be just fine. Whatever it may be, because I know Mondays are kind of rough. And you'll get through it. There is this transformation we're all going through. Like I said, everybody's going through it. And we've got the sun here trying the Uranus trying Pluto, sun trying Pluto as well. Don't miss the change. Don't miss the opportunities that come there, that come your way for you to just release whatever that it needs to be released. Look for some way to be productive, work toward your vision, have that insight. Look around, because there's sometimes I look at people and they, they have a look on their face or something like that, or they'll say something or whatever. And I'll say, having a rough day, huh? And it just changes, I guess, for somebody to notice that their day's not that good and they're having a rough time, can really change an outlook for a person for the rest of the day. Mars is that energy of driven, aggressive. Want to get, right now, Mars being in Cancer in that 4th house. Maybe you just want to get the days over with and you just want to get home. You just want to go home and take a shower and wash the day off. Change your clothes, get out of the work clothes. Have some, just chill out for a little bit, rest a little bit. Or get outside and just, breathe the air. Sometimes, we're all too much in a hurry. The next thing we have going on is where Venus is in the opposition of Chiron. It's not. No, I changed it. Venus is in that opposition to Chiron. And this is where you're struggling in some way. An opposition is where it's like a tug of war, back and forth. You're trying to maybe heal something or fix something, Don't let it get you frustrated. Okay? Don't let things go. Do what you can do and handle it the best you can. There's going to be limits. There's going to be restrictions. There's going to be something here. And the moon, try not to repeat some old habits. This is a big thing I think everybody needs to realize too. It's time to let them old bad habits go. It really is. Because if you're not learning from things that you're doing and you keep repeating the same patterns, like some of the dummies out there that do, and I'm going to say it, people will keep doing the same thing over and over again, constantly. And did it get you anywhere the last time? Probably not. It's not going to get you anywhere the next time either. So people need to stop and think. These habits that they have. I know the worst habit I think, is smoking. That is the worst habit I've got. And I try to quit, but what am I going to do? I've tried all those tools and remedies and whatnot. And it's the big thing with smoking or something like that is it's something you've got within inside yourself. You just have to just say, I'm done. Like people keep going back to bad relationships because they don't learn the lesson that it's not healthy for you. And sometimes we're struggling right now with that. Venus is something, that you value or it brings you some sort of gratification that you can't seem to release it. And you struggle with it in that tug of war. No, it's not healthy. And with the moon, as you can see here, in these quincunxes, to Lilith and the South Node, it's letting you know there's some lessons. That South Node is where you need to learn some lessons. You need to do something here. Change your life path. It's a personal growth, even though you feel like nothing's going. If you read a book, you're gaining some knowledge. That's growth. That's personal growth. Learning the lessons and those karmic lessons. Educate yourself if that's what it is. If you want to, my big thing is if you really enjoy something or you want to try to fix something, research it. Learn all you can about it. There's different tools, different methods, different ways. And all of a sudden it alters your life path. But if you refuse to do it, ain't nobody going to make you do it. So you get so sick and tired of it, you got to do something. The next thing we have after that is going to be Mars. Now, I use the mean nodes or the mid nodes. Some people, I think, call them the mean nodes. True nodes are the ones that about the eclipses. For some reason, okay. I gotta make. Oh shoot! Hold on a second. Drop something. Drop my pen. And I use the mean nodes because they're usually dealing with something in our life that we need to handle. If you're using the true nodes, all it's doing is giving a location of the exact moment in time for the eclipses. It's focused more with the moon and the eclipses. It's almost like if you were using true nodes, it'd be like flying a plane, and on the horizon, you know, you see that little thing going like this. It's an imaginary line, so it kind of tells you which way you're going. You know, maybe you need to level the wing up and fly right, or But I use the mean nodes because it's more personal, and it lets you know it deal with something about in your individual life path, in your personal growth. And right now, with Jupiter being where it's at, in its detriment, and it has a lot with you feel like you can't do anything, like I'm stuck in this place and I can't move forward. I'm stuck in this job, or I'm stuck in this relationship, or I'm stuck. You are never stuck. I want you to realize that. You are never stuck. That is you holding yourself in that position, in that room, or in that space. All you need to do is grab the doorknob, turn it, and walk out the door. No one can hold you back. You have the authority and the power in you to change your life. A lot of people say, well, when is love going to come in my life? When's love? My relationship ended 8 years ago with someone I had a relationship for almost 20. Well, when we separated, it was 23, 20, almost 25 years, 23 years. And it ended abruptly. I mean, it's just like, boom, out the door. I'm done, I'm through. And out the door he went. And for 7.5 years or 7 years, we went through this battle. And the battle's over and done with now. There was things I couldn't control. You can't force someone to come back. And it's true what they say. Let it go. Release it. If it's meant to be, it'll come back to you. If it's not, it won't. And can I say now we're back together? Yes. In a way. We're working through things. But I can tell you this, the whole time, things were like they were during that 7 years. I didn't go looking for anybody else. It would have been stupid for me to do it. And a lot of people would go and do this. They'll go jump from one relationship to another, boom, 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 and they've not settled their lessons. They haven't learned the lessons. So what do? They carry the next one into the next one and the next one. And I couldn't do that to somebody. I absolutely refuse to do that to another person. Is this relationship going to make it? I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. But I know we're working at it, and that's good enough for me. Did I learn some lessons in this 7 years? Yeah, I learned a lot. I learned, the one thing I very much learned is I lost something about me, and I didn't realize it. Of who I am. And I suffered because of it. I had to get to like me and love me again. So stop worrying about, is somebody going to come in my life, or this and that and the other. Clean your life up. Because you think the next relationship you come, if you don't do the work on yourself, you think they're going to hang around? No. And some people think, well, I got kids and nobody wants anybody with kids. Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. And I met this guy, I was 31 years old, had just lost my father, went through hell with that. I had 2 kids. He had one or two, but one was in the picture at the time. So, yeah. So don't think that. So this is Mars squaring the North Node. It's about your future. You're being challenged here some way because with Mars being square to the North Node, it's in opposition over here because these two energies with this Lilith, the mid Lilith, and the mid Lilith is something of that is that inner shadow. It's your uh where you kind of put your foot down. And some of you may need to. I know I did. And you have to make some changes. You have to learn from those past lessons and put your foot down and say, I'm not going to this anymore. I'm not going to keep, if you're a giver, which I was, and you try to always help someone and you always try to, you know, do everything, you can do for them to make their life happy. Guess what? You're doing nothing but making yourself miserable. So really, you got to look at that, especially if you're not always a taker and you don't give back, you don't share back with anybody. You can't. After a while, somebody's going to just quit giving when they see you don't want to give anything back. And if you're a giver and you're always giving, stop it. Let them work out their problems. I mean, if you have a child and it's growing up and that child keeps falling down or tripping when it's trying to learn to walk, and you keep going to the, oh, baby, darling, all this kind of stuff, and babying the child, instead of saying, get yourself up, come on, you can try it again. And if you don't allow them to fall sometimes and pick themselves back up, how in the heck do you think as adults they're going to be able to pick themselves up as a grown woman or a man? They're going to still turn around looking every time something goes bad in their life. Where's mommy? Where's daddy? Where's the one that's, raising me? You going to come pick me up? You going to rescue me? They don't learn. You're doing a disservice to your children or to even your spouse. And if they don't know how, it's your job to teach them as a teacher, more or less. We all got a little bit of teacher in us by our own experiences and what we go through. So something here with Mars in the future about ourselves, we have to look at. And I don't know, could it be the values? Our values are all messed up. Very good possibility in a lot of people. Have you lost values? That maybe you need to go back to the basics again, kind of start over, learning to walk again. Maybe you're a parent. Maybe you need to do something here to heal a situation with maybe your relationship or with maybe within your home or your children or something here that, hey, it's like cut the purse strings. The worst thing you can do is give a child everything. Child doesn't know how to manage money unless you're teaching them. Why, you think way back when, and y'all can knock old days if you want to, but why do you think it always parents gave allowances for the children? They learn how to manage their money and save. And when they go to their parents and say, well, I got this much money saved back and I want to get this, parent always like, mine would be like, how important it is to you. Do you really need that? Think about it before you spend it. Is it important? How important is it to you? What are you doing that you know that it's going to help you in some way? Because kids, I'm telling you nowadays, a lot of them. There's a lot of them who do. I'm not gonna the ones that really are doing that have been taught, and maybe we need to get back to that as parents or as even a spouse. You know, it's that thing of like the guys always say, uh, you know, she'll drive the whole car all the way home on empty, and then ask me to go get gas. Well, you got to teach her. And it's not being mean and ugly, but it's like saying to this, I may not always be around. What are you going to do if I'm not around all the time? And it shows to say, look, I care and I want you to be independent and be officially able to take care of yourself. Same thing with the woman and the man. You know, when women would be going around the house and say, pick your socks up, hamper's right over there. I'm not your mama. I'm not your maid. I love you, but you know, just, I can't, you're a grown person. I'm going to kill you to pick your socks up. I'm not going to kill you to go out and do this. Come on. So it's like it's driven here towards something for the future. And I think it's to have a better future and not lose hope and faith that there's not going to be a better future. And I know with this moon now in this quincunx to Lilith, what I was talking about earlier, is to the south node and Lilith and this part of fortune or lot of fortune. And remember what I said. I found out the information, but it's a little bit too long for this. I have to do a different video, an individual video for that, because it's going to deal with some math and nighttime chart, a daytime chart, and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, but it deals with the sun, deals with the moon, and it deals with ascending. Because ascending is very important in your life. It's what was rising at the time of your birth. So that's why it's sometimes called the ascending or it's called the rising. In Vedic astrology, they will point more to your rising or ascending because that is where you lean to in that midheaven that deals with your role in society and what you're going to show society and how you work in society with others. And you really get to know the character of a person in society. So they'll go on the ascending or the rising, whichever way you want to call it. I always go by the ascending. I don't ever say rising. Because you don't see nothing on it. It says rising. It says ascending. So I use the ascending. Or they'll use the moon. Very rarely do they ever use the sun. And they don't use the outer planets of Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus. Some do. They find it, you know, a little bit more being able to gather more information. But a lot of them don't use it. All right. So we're here at the moon with the quincunx to Lilith. But Lilith is conjoined with something here of learning lessons. And Lilith is that inner shadow where you kind of put your foot down and you set your boundaries. And And you can maybe somewhat express maybe some anger with some things in the home. I wouldn't do it with anger. I would do it with love. Because if you do it where you're angry, it's not going to benefit you. Because it's just an emotional thing. Because right now this moon is conjunct with Saturn. And what is Saturn? Saturn is time. And it deals with discipline and responsibility. And if you're living with somebody that's irresponsible, they're not disciplined in their life, which I've been there too, you're gonna fly off the handle. And where does it get you? Get you nowhere. Get you absolutely nowhere. I mean, it may shock somebody if you've never done it before, and all of a sudden you fly off the handle. They may like, whoa, where is that coming from? And you just say, these are the boundaries. I'm putting my foot down. I've had enough of this. I'm not going along with these things anymore. I'm just refusing to obey this, or this even worse in the job. If somebody's always calling you to come in and work overtime or come into work, and other people don't want to come to work, and then they always call you because you're the good worker, you got to set those boundaries. And nothing's getting done at home. And you're like, well, I got to cut something out here because this ain't getting it. And it's a good thing to have boundaries. Children need to have boundaries as well. They need to know they just can't do as they please. Doesn't work that way. So this is going to be kind of the 16th is going to be kind of somewhat of a, it can start out kind of emotional. And here's where the eclipse comes in on the next day. Because it's like, off with the head. It's where you just cut something out. I'm done with it. But if you handle it in a respectful, graceful way, you'll get so much more out of it. Because like I said, the old story is you get more with honey than with vinegar. And if you're sarcastic and you're angry and you're demanding, and I mean, just look at I don't know how many of you watch the news, or that maybe you even see these other podcasters and you see this and you see that. And if you watch a lot of TikTok videos and you see these disrespectful people attacking others and this and that, you think you're going to get anywhere in life like that? Matter of fact, I saw one this morning of it was of a woman almost 50 years old, or right at 50 years old. And she would have these guests on her shows or something, and she would initiate some kind of discussion, and she would nitpick at these people till she would have them where they just exploded. Then she's got the audacity to turn around and say, calm down, calm down. Something wrong with you? She throws it back on the other person when she's the one who instigated it all. Now, that's just rude. I mean, you ever had, my dad used to do this to my mom. He'd get her so angry. And then when she got real angry, he would look at her and say, just look at you. Just look at you. And it just took her back, and it made it worse. So I think that was a lot of their disputes a lot when we were younger, because she was just tired of it. But it's going to probably be a very sort of emotional time. And you're going to have to really check yourself, your own values, and ask yourself, am I always getting or am I always giving? Something here's got to change, and I've got to cut something out. You know, if I'm always taking, then I need to give back some. And there's nothing wrong with, you know, showing that when somebody does something, let them know you appreciate that they've done something for you. Just don't take advantage of people. Now, on the 17th, we got the moon, because we're going to have, by the end of the day, this moon is going to be in the lunar eclipse. Because this is the day of the full moon. I'm just looking at something. Because this is not only the 15th day of the moon, but it's also the 16th day of the moon. And it's almost like when the moon eclipses, it's like a whole new moon, whole new emotions. Something is gone, it's out emotionally. So it's kind of a double day for the moon. And the first thing we have is the moon in opposition with Mercury. The moon is got the combined energy of Saturn here. Saturn is retrograde. And again, Saturn deals with discipline and responsibility. And they're conjunct. And it's bringing that energy is being fed into the moon from Saturn. What is my emotional responsibilities? Am I disciplined in my emotions? Like military guys, you know, they go overseas or whatever, they're fighting. It's not emotional. Even though I'm sure some of them feel it, but they have a duty to do and a responsibility to do something. So this is where you kind of checking yourself, checking your own emotions, emotional needs. Because you got to remember that full moon rules the tide. So there could be something really coming up that somebody's responsible for, or where's your discipline in your emotions. And there's like the struggle with Mercury, because Mercury's in conjunct with Vesta. Balance. Don't let yourself get out of balance. This has a lot to do with Venus, your values. Check yourself. Then we're going to have also the moon conjunct with Saturn, like I said. I mean, it's right on, dead on, 1519. Whatever you do here, have grace. Whatever it is that has to do, this, I always say that the 10 is a representation of the law, balance, justice, okay? But have grace. It's almost like there's grace within the law. To get to the truth of something, you need to have that grace. When I was talking or thinking about it, I just, that story of Solomon comes to mind, where the two women had the child, both claimed it was theirs. And Solomon says, okay, bring me a sword and I'll cut the child in half. And so the real mother says, no, 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 no. And was willing to give her child away. And Solomon knew then who the real mother was. Only the real mother would have stepped up, and instead of the child being harmed, and would give it away than for it to be harmed. She would sacrifice. And again, the 12th house is the house of sacrifice, sacrificing something here. And through sacrificing something, there's rehabilitation, healing. What is rehabilitation? It's healing the wound. What is Chiron? Chiron is something that is unhealthy, that the wound is there and there needs to be healing. And through grace, you find healing. And with this moon being conjunct with Saturn, it's like looking at whose responsibility is what, reviewing those things, because Saturn is retrograde. And also, with it feeding over to this energy that's in this opposition, this is ascending. That means like they're kind of reverse roles here. It's something with Virgo. Venus is already up, and this is all dealing with Venus. Check your values. Have you got love in your heart? Can you see something beautiful that can come out of something? It's, it's like almost like seeing something that's so beautiful. You ever watched a movie where this, a woman, a ballet, or a woman in such clothing that it's like it just flies. It's so, and then she just slowly moves. That's grace. But it's also beautiful. And when you have that love, you can let it just flow. The next thing we have is we have the moon. See, it's all about the moon, because we're getting ready to go into that full moon and eclipse. And the moon is squaring Jupiter. Remember what I said about Jupiter? It's in detriment because it's not in the house that it rules. And this Jupiter, the house that it rules, is up ascending. And Jupiter would be descending. If you look at where they can be, if this is over here in this position and it's ascending, then this would be descending. So it's really paying attention to something here of the wounds or the repression, the weakness, the negativity, something in there. Find the beauty in something that, it's almost like a comic would say, find the humor in something that's this in everyday life. To be able to do that is to be able to have that laughter to release something. When we laugh, we release so much energy. And the days being ruled by Mars and the hours ruled by Mars, don't use this to fight. It doesn't get anywhere. Don't be aggressive. You won't get what you're after here. It won't happen. You're just creating karma. Cut out what is negative. Find laughter in something. Laugh at yourself if you've done something stupid. I do it all the time. If I do something or whatever, I have to laugh at myself as something I perceive or something I do. Find the humor in something. That is still a form of grace. But this moon is squaring Jupiter. Even though Venus is trying to help it. Because Venus knows when it gets over here, I'm going to need the blessings. Because this right here where it's at now It's going to move and it's going to be exalted. And when Venus gets over in Scorpio, it's going to be in a fall. So you can either make something good that can come good out of something bad or something you're struggling with. Because when this gets over here, it's going to be like death and transformation. That's what the eighth house is all about. If you've been holding back on something, stop it. Be honest, but do it with grace and love. And the next thing we have is we have the moon goes into a quincunx with Venus. Because now it's going to go in, it's in that conjunction of Neptune. Neptune is in its house of rulership. And look what it is, Mars. Don't let something, I'm telling you, we're all going through a spiritual war and it's doing its best. It is doing its best. That evil don't want you to have no blessings whatsoever. None. And you have to fight something here. And look where the moon is at, Jupiter and Jupiter. And it's squaring it. It's trying to keep you from getting whatever blessings you're entitled to. There's evil out there that does not want us to have blessings and rewards. No matter what we do, it wants to hold us back, hold us down, repress us. Don't want us to expand, don't want us to grow. It's almost like politics right now, you see. We got one politician wants to make America great again. We got one politician over here wants to take everything away. Which one's it going to be? It's exactly, it's evil against good. I'm not saying the other one's perfect. Neither one of them are perfect. But who is the lesser of the two evils here? You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. We all make mistakes. We all got our thing about us. But there's something here with Venus. And the moon in this quincunx with Venus. Something within our DNA and our emotions needs to change. And again, with it being conjunct with Neptune, it's a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual vision, faith, hope. Don't lose your faith. Use your creative imagination. And it's also about your psychic abilities. Because remember, a lot of times something will come up when we meet somebody and we'll say, something's not right here. We're inclined to see things sometimes that's telling us, like the little devil on the shoulder and the little angel on one side and the devil on the other side. When you know the difference between right and wrong, because everybody knows the difference between right and wrong from the time of childhood and when your parents says, don't touch that. Sometimes you get your hands smacked. Sometimes people are too stupid and a little stubborn and a little tantrum that they won't, they'll do it anyway. Okay, then did you learn your lesson? And you got to let your psychic ability lead you beyond what materialistically you see in this world. Because it could be just an illusion. And Neptune is good for the illusions. And the devil He doesn't. He's the father of lies, whereas God is the father of truth. So you can listen to the lies. You can listen to truth. If you listen to lies and your life goes to hell, you ain't got nobody to blame but yourself. There's a guarantee you, everybody, I don't care what they do, whatever else, they know the difference between right and wrong. When a person goes up and has a brick in his hand, or she has a brick in her hand or something and throws it through a glass window, they know that's wrong. They know what they're doing is wrong. And that's creating karma. And everything that is you think is so glamour, like these Hollywood stars, not look here, darlings. They may be a Hollywood star, they may have made a name for themselves, they may have had this or whatever. But let me tell you something. They put their clothes on and their shoes on just like you do, just like I do. They put their pants on the same way, one leg at a time. Just because they got something more and they got more money or the bigger fancy house or all that kind of stuff, guarantee you they got more problems than you got because they're trying to hoard it. They're trying to keep it. And if you think for 1 minute that all this stuff is going to be, more money, more money, more money. I mean, it's all about power. You've got your own personal power. And this is what it's all about. The only thing you can control is you and your little world, your realm. And you can say yes or you can say no. But you better check yourself and make sure that whatever it is, you're doing the right thing and not the wrong thing. Because this can tell me, are you feeding into the illusion of something? Are you believing something here? You can be a fool or you can do the right thing for yourself and your children or your family, whatever it may be. And you can break this illusion. Because right now, Neptune is retrograde. And all that should be down. That you can see through the veil here or through the haze. All that's getting burnt off by the sun. You to see the real truth of something that you need to see. Don't be disillusioned anymore. Because then right after that, we have the full moon. And there's your eclipse at 2540. And it's conjunct with Neptune. Over to the sun. Sun is shining on both of it. What's real here? It's time to see what is real and what is not real. There's grace in conflict. Something here that really needs to be seen. And I think a lot of good stuff is going to eventually come out and really show it. And we need to cut out the illusions. And these are opportunities that's coming off of this to really change our lives, to make the biggest change that could be in our lives. With what's ascending, things we find out, this change still We got a grand trine here, which is really grand. Don't miss the opportunity to make a life altering change here. Don't let this eclipse pass you by without looking and saying, what do I need to do? What is it I need to cut out? What is it? What is it I need to heal? What is it I'm seeing that may not be real? Or is it just an illusion? Where do you need to put your foot down? Say, I'm done with this. I've had enough of it. I'm not gonna keep giving, or I'm not gonna take anymore. I'm willing to share, but I'm not going to keep giving and giving and giving and not receiving anything back. Everybody needs to hold themselves accountable. All right, the 18th. Oops, sorry about that. I hit the wrong thing there. After this lunar eclipse, the moon is going to be going into its waning stage, meaning that this, whatever it is, it's, the feelings are going to get less, they'll be less intense. Because on the, where is it? It won't be till next week we'll get at that last quarter of the moon where we just need to just let it go, release it. It's kind of like the last quarter of the moon is like the harvest. And then between that last quarter of the moon to the new moon is sort of the resting period. You finish up something and then it's time to rest after that last quarter. Now, the 18th, this is when I can, this is me and my niece's birthday. As a matter of fact, my niece was born on my birthday. So her and I share that. And I got one subscriber here that I know their birthday, we share a birthday together too. So I might have to think of something this coming week to do something on this for me and her. Um, but we had the moon sextiling Uranus. And this is where there's an opportunity for you to activate your mind and activate and create a change. Probably the biggest change of your life. And the moon will completely come to a conjunction with Neptune. Same degrees, 28 degrees, 35 minutes in. So that, with that sextile, you'll be able to make some kind of shocking revelation, some kind of shocking awareness of something. You'll be able to do something here to make this change that can bring in a gain, maybe, or release something that no longer serves you anymore in your values, change your values. Because the sun being focused with Chiron, or with the midheaven, as above, so below. And that midheaven, is usually up here, but it's your role in society. Is focusing on your role in society. Do you heal or do you fight? Do you run? Do you stand your ground, or do you just flight? Do you just run away? What's it going to be? Are you going to heal the wounds? What is your role in all this? Looking at oneself and saying, here, something in me is not healthy, that I need to do something about it, because it's not good for me or society. It's not getting me anywhere. And you've got to make this change. It's Uranus trying Pluto, the Sun trying Pluto. There's something here about time to make a death. It's a death and a transformation, the ending of something and something new being born. It's almost like a rebirth. It's almost like a baptism, where that is the big alteration of your life. And then all of a sudden you're influenced into a new way of life, new path of life. The next thing we have is where the wait a minute, is something got missed here? No, I've already talked about that. The moon conjunct Neptune. I got that. Okay. All right. Mercury in opposition to Saturn, but it's conjunct with Vesta here. And what is Vista? Vista is that spiritual flame. It's the keeper of the spiritual flame, that burning within you, that desire you have. It represents the sacred feminine creative energy that allows you to dedicate yourself to your aspirations, your plans, your goals. And you have that, it shows that you have that devotion to something, that spiritual devotion to a cause or a project or a person, even a belief that's sacred to you. And it's going to be on your mind. And it's going to be, and it's in opposition to Saturn. So is it my responsibility? It is your responsibility, because it's your dream, it's your vision, it's your goal. It's for you to here be dedicated to something, be disciplined in it. As time goes on, the more you get involved in something here and you activate your mind and say, really, I'm devoted to this. This is what I really, truly want in my life. It's my responsibility to take the action at what I desire here and be responsible for myself. I can't be responsible for the other person. They're responsible for themselves, but I can be responsible for myself. And if I show someone that I'm dedicated to them or devoted to them, and I do something in a disciplined way, like somebody does something, I say, thank you. I really appreciate you doing that for me. That is where you change your values. You become more responsible. You don't know what kind of impact you could have in someone else's life by doing this. Because this is all, with these retrogrades, it's altering. It's really altering. You don't know how much you can gain in life by changing something, changing the way you are. That you know you've got flaws. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm still working on my spirituality. I'm still working on my dedication, my devotion to things. That's why I want to get this done. I want to come back to this. I felt I need to be back here because it was helping me. And during the time of my health, and I wasn't able to sit for very long or do this or do that, and the pain I was in, I was no good to nobody, not even to myself. So now that I'm able to come back and work at this, and I've been able to heal some and work through it, and it's taken me a while. I mean, it's still some pain there, but it's not like it was. So, and the moon here is conjunct with the North Node. It's bringing that energy from Neptune. Some illusion, hopefully for the future, has done altered you and changed you. You've learned some lesson here and said, I'm not doing that anymore. I want to be a better person. I'm not going to give all the time. They got to be responsible for themselves. This is the opportunity of a lifetime to make a, because this right here is going to be moving back in here, and it will not be here for another 248 years. We will not live to see this go back through here again. Through the grace of God, unless he lets us live that long. I don't want to live that long, but you know what I'm saying? This is going to be the end of this. And then it's going to move in here, and it's going to make a big life altering thing here. And that's in the house of blessings. That's in our society. Who's going to be blessed and who isn't? Where's the support? Blessings of support. I mean, I'm ready for it myself. Next thing we have is we have the moon sextiling Pluto. Again, look what's with Pluto here. A lot of fortune. Like I said, I'll make a separate video on it. And we also have a yod here, the finger of God, coming off the hand of God to make a big change. And we have our role in society here. There's a big change here. Very spiritual change. There's opportunities here on both of this. You can go, this is where you run the race and you cross that finish line, and you're not really crossing the finish line, but you're starting the race to a whole new beginning, and you want to reach the finish line and you want to stand up on there with the gold medal. I completed it. I did it. Can you imagine how much pride you can have in yourself that you accomplished it? This is where I set my goals. This is where I spiritually devoted to myself to change my life, to learn those lessons from the past of what I've been through for so long and what we've been through. And I can make a difference now. I can say no. I can put my foot down and say, no, that's your responsibility. That's not mine. And you don't have to be ugly about it. You can just say, you just let them know that it's time to grow up. I support you in your endeavor to help you make these changes, that you can grow up, or you can make this change. You can do this or that needs to be done. But you've got to do it because I can't do it for you anymore. And that's part of loving somebody. It's not fair to you, but it's your role in society where you can make changes for yourself and devote yourself to something here. I guarantee you there's a double of grand trines sitting here with this combined energy here with Pluto. I mean, I'm telling you, there's people that life's gonna be so altered, and they're gonna be so driven and so devoted and so aggressive to go after everything they want. But it's how you gain it. It's through the grace and your values and taking care of yourself, encouraging others, what they can do. It's like I always said, if I can do it, you can do it. If I can teach myself something or teach others something, there's no reason why you can't succeed. You just got to be devoted to learn it and to know it. You got to want it for you. And you got to have that devotion to go after it, to go after the goal. Because this is, this is it. This is like the end. The end. It's like the end of the movie. The end. You may never have this kind of chance again this week. Next thing we have is the moon ingresses into Aries now. And it's combined with that energy of the future, that north node, the path we are supposed to be going toward the future. Don't live in the past, go for the future. You can't change what is already done. Only thing you can do is learn from the lessons and create anew. Your new role in society, your transformation. The old you is dead and gone. Once you've gone through that rehabilitation, that baptism, that death, and you are reincarnated, you are reborn, you are resurrected, you have risen from the dead. However you want to look at it, darling, it's up to you. And now you can be this new thing out in society, this new role in life, this dedication you have to what it is that you really want to go toward. I know what mine is. I mean, I love learning. I love learning about new things. I love anything that has to do with technology and learning something new. I love 3D modeling. I'm going back in that. I'm learning. I love this. Don't get me wrong. I love this. But I want something else other than just this. So this is where I'm starting. I'm going to still do this, but I'm ready to explore even more. I'm ready to move forward. And we'll see where the road leads me. So this is coming here, and it has to deal with this Mars. That is going to take place. Like I said, this is my birthday. I am reborn. I'm anew. I love it. Let's see. Okay. A lot of this stuff that's happening on the 18th begins after midnight. Because when we start off on this, it's after midnight. It goes from like I said, it's a whole new day. It's a whole new day. 53 minutes after midnight is when we had the first thing here when the moon sextiles Uranus. This is it. This is the change. This is the shift. This is the beginning. We had then at 3:10 in the morning, my time. For some of y'all, it may be a little earlier, maybe a little later. We have the moon conjunct with Neptune at 3:10 in the morning. No, this I was talking about earlier. It has to do with the early morning hour at 4:50, 10 minutes to 5. Mercury conjuncts with Saturn. The next thing we have is the moon sextiles with Pluto at 5:02 in the morning. Then the moon ingresses into Aries at 5:53. All this energy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 things happen during the night. Usually it's maybe 1 or 2 things, and you'll deal with it going through somewhat of the day. But all this is going on. So don't tell me there ain't something spiritual that's going to be moving around in the night, in the dark. It's going to be life altering. Because then the next time we have is at 1628. That's almost 4:30 in the afternoon, my time. On the East Coast. So the next thing we have is we have the moon conjunct with the North Node. They come together. And with this energy, it's your ambition, your goal to take the action towards your future. Stop whatever there is. This is going to be really something here that's going to be life altering, life changing. The moon's at 7 degrees, 0, 0. North Node, 0, 7 degrees. This is very spiritual, divine intervention somewhere here. And the next thing we have is we have the moon square Mars, which we already seen it square Mars. It's a challenge to say, what are you going to do here? Are you going after something here to learn those lessons? Don't oppose something here. Don't reject it, because it could be an opportunity that you will never get again. You're being challenged on something here. And this square with Mars is at 6:27 my time in the evening, PM. Then we have the moon in opposition of Lilith. See all this? There's something here that's trying its best to get you to stay in the past. Posing you doing something for the future. And that, to me, if somebody cares about you, you got to put your foot down and say, no, I've got, this is what it's going to be. I've changed. Don't let somebody hold you back if they're not going willing to change their life. Just because they don't want to change don't mean you can't. This is very, very spiritual what's going on. And this is Neptune that's square in the midheaven. Your role in society in that 10th house. And, water leak in there? This is where you need to take the opportunity to go. Move on. Don't let somebody hold you back. You can choose to go against the grain. You don't have to go along with what everybody else is doing. You can make the difference. All right, now we have the 19th. On the 19th, this is the 18th day of the lunar cycle. No, it's the 19th because I'm looking at it. The moon is in a quincunx with Mercury. There's a sort of a where there's with Mercury conjoining or having that conjunction. See, they're both got conjunctions. The moon has a conjunction to Chiron, which is what you need to review here is what the wounds, what is unhealthy here, and what's being done. Maybe there's something here you're not. With Virgo, it's doing the work and disciplined and all, but it's also what you're analyzing here. This is getting something. This is where you're really doing something here to get it better for the future and activating your mind. But it's like something's, when there's a quincunx, it's usually called a quincunx or an inconjunct, right? When things are conjunct, as the moon is with Chiron, Mercury is with Vesta, that means this energy's feeding off of Chiron, Mercury's feeding off of Vesta, and they're opposing forces because it is inconjunct. They're not, it's like these are working together, these two are working together, but they're opposing each other. It's like a it's like a refusal to give on either side of something here. Don't refuse to set and analyze something that needs to be analyzed. Where is there something where there can be success, that can be satisfied? Break the tie and have success here. Because that's what that's kind of like. It's like a tie. Nobody's given. This energy over here, don't want to look at this one over here. It'd be like, it'd be like the wound on my arm, but yet I'm not going to do anything to make it any better. Just let it go. It'll be fine. Does that help me? No. What it's like looking at this wound and saying that's what Chiron is, something that's not healthy. It's like looking at it and saying, well, I know, I feel this is really not very good and I need to do something about it. So, where can I do some research or analyze what I need to do here to make this wound better and make it more healthy? You follow me? And I got to devote myself to making sure I do this and I do that. It's like that Vesta is that little flame, that eternal flame that's burning all the time. How can I expand my mind to learn something else new here? And just say, well, it's okay. I'll be fine. No. The next thing we have is we have the sun trine Uranus. Okay. Again, like a grand trine. I told you that earlier. It's going to be going on. It's an opportunity. Don't let it pass you by. Now Venus rules Libra, but it's also the ruler of Taurus. And she, whatever's over here, she's fixing to go into something here into Scorpio where she's not going to be in a good position. She's going to be in a fall. Remember what and what this is when a planet, when she gets over here, she's going to be opposite her house of exaltation. So she's going to feel like in a fall. Now, there's a difference between opposition of the house of rulership, because in like Jupiter here, being in its house of rulership, like Neptune here in its house of rulership, and the power it has. Because everything that hits it, it's like, I rule this house. Don't come in my house telling me what I got to do and what my responsibility is and everything else. You better go check yourself. And you better make some sacrifices here. I mean, that's kind of like Neptune talking to Saturn. This is my house. And when you come in my house, you're going to make sacrifices. Now, with Jupiter being opposite, it's in detriment. It feels weak because it's outside of its house. It's in someone else's house, which is Mercury, because Mercury rules this over here. And Mercury's over here analyzing stuff of what needs to be done or what it is, how to grow something, how to expand it. And all Jupiter wants to do is just grow, grow, grow. Well, how do you expand the mind? How do you expand the knowledge? And whatever's going on with Jupiter here, when it gets here in his house of rulership, it's going to be a few more years because Jupiter spends a year in each sign, unless it's doing retrograde. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to take 6 years for Jupiter to get over there. That whatever, every time Mercury comes through here, why it's there, it's wanting to expand the mind. Or Mercury's coming in and giving it some knowledge. It's been out here going around and around and around, and it's been dealing with things. It's been facing things. It's been learning things. It's been doing all that stuff, and then it gets over here and it shares it with Jupiter. So in 6 years, whatever it is, it's a learning process. And then maybe somewhere along in there, there's a whole new horizon here. And when everything that comes in there, when Jupiter gets there, as it comes in, Jupiter's going to expand and share it. So, right now with the sun being in that trine with Uranus, which we know that Uranus is all about change. And it shares the rulership with Aquarius here, but it's not in this house. It's in Venus's house. And Venus is opposed to it being there. Because Venus is like, I ruled this house here, but I'm exalted over here. I wear the gold, the purple robe. I'm exalted. I mean, that's where its energy is pure and elevated to the level of perfection when it's in its house of exaltation. Now the moon, something. Oh, here it is. The moon is going to be exalted when it gets over here in Taurus. It's going to be that, what I just said, purely, it's going to be pure energy, pure, honest emotions. It's going to be elevated to the level of perfection. And its energy is going to be real positive. So when it comes in here and comes in contact with this, it wants to make a positive change. Because this is the house of its exaltation. But what's going to be over here is going to be Venus in a fall when it starts to change the signs. And so when the moon comes around over here while Venus is here, there's going to be some opposition there. That Venus is like, I love that over there because I can gain things over here. Here I can't. Just let you know. Because when a planet is opposite its sign of exaltation, it's what they know is called a fall or dishonored. There's some dishonor. Don't be that way. And the only way to make it through things right now is through grace and finding the beauty in life and the looking for the positive things in life, not always the negative. And maybe even teaching that to someone else. Because with the sun in that trine to Uranus, and Uranus in a trine to Pluto, and the sun in the trine to Pluto, we all know there's something going to go down here. There's going to be something that is really going to change. And Uranus is that one where it's like individual, your inner individuality, who I am, and I am unique from everyone else. Not to say I'm better, I'm just unique. I'm different. I have my own individual traits. I have my own individual gifts or talents, or however you want to look at it. Uranus also is very intuitive. It picks up on things. I look at the intuitiveness as like, because we know Uranus is like draws the lightning, the electricity, that it hits the crown, right? Hits in the tree, right? What does it do? It goes down, or it starts there at the bottom and goes out. So there's something here that there's some sort of, you had this intuitive feeling of what, there's something big coming. It's also about maybe even a creative idea you get out of nowhere. It just comes like a lightning bolt. You ever heard him? It's like lightning bolt. It's always the lightning bolt above the head, and then all of a sudden the light comes on. It's because electricity. Something flip the switch. That's Uranus. Sometimes you feel the tingle from the back of your all the way down to your toes, and it's expressed through your inspiration or something you're rebelling against. You choose, I'm not going along with it. I'm different. I have my own individuality, my own uniqueness. I don't have to follow the crowd. I don't have to, because everybody else is jumping off the bridge. Don't mean I got to jump off the bridge. Y'all knock yourself out. Have a good time. And it's also a breakthrough of society. And I think we're going to have that breakthrough in society. When this gets back over here, There's going to be a breakthrough in society. Society is going to change. Remember, it came at 2 degrees, it went stationary, and now it went back, and it is finishing up here because it's ready to break through in society here. And it's going to teach us lessons about discipline and responsibility. And about innovation and uniqueness. Because this rules here, but it's, and the old ruler is Saturn. They co-rule together over here in Aquarius. But Saturn is about time as well. Father time. It's going to take time to break through. It always does. Doesn't happen overnight. It's about a breakthrough of society structures, where we are to become independent and original. And that is why Uranus or Pluto is there. It's breaking through societal structures so that we can become independent and original, giving us our power and our authority back and our uniqueness, our individuality. We're all different. We're all unique. Just like nobody's chart's the same unless you are an identical twin. And I guarantee you, even being identical twins, there's still something in that chart of the two that would be different. Even if it's by a few seconds, there's be something different. It may on the outside look like it, but when you get down to the nitty gritty of each one, one's born a minute here, one's born a minute there, or a couple of minutes, but they're identical. There's something a little different. So there is something trying here. And it's all about to change everything. Next thing we have is we have the moon sextile Jupiter. And this is going to be at 2:11 in the afternoon, p.m. my time. That sun in a trine with Uranus is going to be at 10:04 in the morning. It'll start out at 8:56 with the moon in conjunction or quincunx with Mercury at 8:56. Then the sun will trine Saturn at 10:04. Then the moon will sextile Jupiter at 2:11 in the afternoon. So you'll have a few hours of this energy where there's an opportunity there. Now with the moon sextiling Jupiter, again, it's time to activate the mind, to initiate some sort of action here to bring the balance in. Look at what you're really devoted to here, that you want, and you're willing to work for it. Saturn makes you work for things. You've got to put the effort in. You've got to be disciplined and responsible. I mean, you can't get rewards and all this other stuff if you're not disciplined and you're not responsible. It's almost like you're not going to give a 5-year-old a $50 bill and just say, okay, go get what you want. Are you crazy? Not in today's society, you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't even give it to a 10-year-old. Not even a teenager would you do that unless you've raised them to know the value of money. And that money don't grow on trees. So there's something here of an opportunity, but in order to gain this opportunity, because remember, I'm looking at the opposition to the ascending. Are you ready to receive a blessing here? Are you sharing what you know, knowledge, your luck, expansion, growth? Only you know that. But you have to activate the mind. You got to know, is this really truly what I want? Because if you want to receive the blessings that can be bestowed upon you, you got to know what it is you really truly want. What is it you really truly want, and you're really going to be devoted and dedicated to it? You want it more than anything else in this world. You have to make sure this is what you truly, really want. You can't just get a blessing and then just, like the kid, take the toy and throw it on the floor, play with it for a few hours, and then like, I'm done with it. Same thing with knowledge and learning. A student. If you're going to go to college, number one, you better be responsible enough to pay the debts that you're racking up. Two, you better be devoted to it and really put it to your mind that you're going to do everything you can to excel. Or you're just wasting your time, wasting a teacher's time. You're wasting time in your life. The next thing we have here is we got the moon conjunct with Chiron. Dead heat, 2222. It's a cycle coming to an end. It's a completion of something. Venus is in opposition to it. I'm just trying to see if there is a yod here. Because now that the moon has conjoined or is in conjunction, meaning they're feeding off of one another here. It is like the wounded warrior, and you go in there. There's a deck of cards I got where the woman is, the soldier's laid out, and he's looks like it's a funeral, whatever, and he's battered, worn, and all this, or he's gone, and you're showing that empathy to something here, to something that's wounded, and there's a completion of something here. He's done his duty. He was gallant. He was honorable. He was everything. But now the cycle is over. And Venus is in opposition to it. But I'm looking for a yod, and I see it. And when these two come together, there's still that sextile with Jupiter. And it's something here is that reward. It's your role in society. And so, like I said, are you really ready for this? It's almost like, are you ready to go out there into society? Are you ready? It'd be like somebody starting a podcast that's never done it before. And oops, sorry about that. And or doing something and they're not sure if they're ready. It's almost like the yacht is pointing the finger. And it's like, this is going to change your life in society. Your role in society here is going to change. Because that's what the midheaven is. You're at a point, you're it's in the eighth house. So there's something of death here. You've analyzed it enough. Are you going to do it or are you not going to do it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for it. It's like hitting that live stream and knowing you're fixing to go out and publish something or say something or do something and you're ready to expand everything out into the world. Are you ready to do that? Are you ready to show all your wounds and share that maybe with others? Your fight, your struggle. Or are you going to be empathetic to others where they've been? Are you going to, are you going to be one of those podcasters that's been around for a while and say, hey, I see this person over here struggling. Maybe I can help them. See, that would be me. Because I know what it's like to struggle. I mean, like I said, I've seen some that I thought they're really, really good. They can do better. It's like somebody coming to me wanting to do something or learn, and I share all my knowledge or everything I've been through, my trials and tribulations, errors. I used to do that when I used to teach people in uh, digital art or digital scrapbooking or something like that. How they can do this and how they can do that. And then they can take it and put it together and put it on a disc. Go out there and share it. Or just doing it for their own pleasure, for their own family. I never asked for anything in return. I got so much joy out of teaching others that they learned that they had learned what they wanted and they really wanted to learn how to do it. I've even had people would say to me when I was teaching, they would say, I can't do this. I can't do this. And I'd say, no, I don't want to hear the word I can't. Because the only thing that's stopping you from learning is you. You can do this. You're just going to take practice. I would do instructional videos, everything I can to help them. It's up to them if they want to learn it. I can't force them. But when I would see, and all this was free, I didn't, because I know what it's like to struggle. I know how hard it is to learn on your own. And if I've already been through all the errors that there was out there and all the tribulations and all the wounds and all the letdowns and all this and going back and forth, that sometimes it really upsets me when I go out there and I'm looking for something and there's like, oh, this book, they say, oh, you check this out. This can do this and this can do that. And then when you get over there and you look at it and say, oh, you can get this book or this for $19.95. I would get upset, or $39.95. And then it's really nothing but a bunch of junk. I would get so upset about it. And the only thing that I got out of it was I'd like, and I'd see them improve and I'd see them get better and they would do better and better. And it was like, I'm telling them, said, after they've learned it, it's like, see, I told you, and you was going to quit. You can do this. And I was proud that I had helped someone else see them smile and see their excitement that they done something. It's like when you see your baby take a walk for the first time and they walk into your arms and they're so excited. I did it, mommy. That's where I get my joy and pleasure from. So yeah, some things are hard to learn. And Nobody's ever going to be perfect at everything they do. Nobody. I don't care who they are. Mm-mm. They're always going to leave something out. They're always going to miss something. And it's not that they don't know, it's that they have so much up here that sometimes it gets left out. So the next thing we've got here on this day is the moon in opposition to Venus. Because number one, Venus knows it's going into a fall. And that when it goes there, it's going to be in the opposition to the moon. But by the time it probably gets there, the moon's already going to be through here. And the moon's going to be perfect, exalted here. You're going to gain so much emotionally if you've learned the lessons. And you're not repeating the same mistakes over and over and over. If you think for yourself instead of letting others do your thinking for you. If you are devoted to something and you discipline yourself to do it, the work, and go seek the opportunities. You may hear 1,000 no's and then all of a sudden somebody helps. Somebody supports you. You made bunches and bunches of sacrifice. And then all of a sudden somebody comes along and says, okay, I'll help you. Sometimes you just got to ask. They say no. They say no. You move on. You move on, find another mentor or someone else to help you. Like right now, I'm trying to build this channel. I don't know everything about the YouTube part and how to do more other than just do more video, more work. Be devoted to what I'm doing. Show my dedication. It's almost like that movie, Field of Dreams. You build it, they'll come. We'll see. We'll see. I think it has a lot to do with your devotion and your dedication to something. I think it has a lot to do with your dedication to it. It all depends on the one that's doing it. And if you're just doing it just to throw videos out there, you know, I mean, I've had people say, well, you need to put more videos out. You need, why? It gets repetitious. Why should I do something that's not going to benefit anybody? So, and this is going to be at 11:13 in the evening, my time. Now, you know, some people are 2 hours behind me. Like in California, they're 3 hours behind me. Some people are ahead of me. It's already going into the next day for them. You know, it might be, you know, they may be a day ahead of me. They may be 7 hours ahead of me. They may be 12 hours ahead of me. They're already starting their day while I'm sleeping. So it's whatever that is, you're going to have to adjust your time to it. So this could be at a different time for someone, you know, totally different for them. But with the moon now being in this opposition that it's been, and it's still connected to the Chiron, and now Venus is in conjunction with this part of fortune, has a lot to do with the mathematical calculation of the sun, the moon, and the ascending, where you can really benefit and get the fulfillment out of something. And like I said, I'll do a video on the part of fortune, but it has to be by itself because it's mathematical work in it. So I will do one on that. And it's the challenge of transformation and death. Are you going to change? Only change brings reward. And look where it's sitting at, Mars and Mars. This is a lot of stuff of the ambition. How bad do you want to succeed? How bad do you want to grow? And, they say this is the home, the family house. Are you devoted into your family? Are you devoted? Everybody in the family is unique. They're all different. You can't expect your kids to go for the same career or your grandkids to go for the same career that you're in. Find out what their interest is and encourage them. Give them the information so they'll know if this is really what they truly want to be and grow up to be. But show the love. Nurture them through the process. And don't take the words of, I can't do this. You don't know if you can if you do it unless you try. Unless you want to succeed at it, that's the only way you're going to know. So we're ending the day on that note. And then we're going into the 20th, where the sun is in a quincunx with the moon. Now the sun, talking about the sun in Virgo. Ah, and Mercury's in its exaltation. My Mercury, as a matter of fact, is going to have its return because it'll be at 10 degrees. So that's a return. My sun on the 18th went through its solar return. I'll be 65 this year. Okay, that's good. Maybe as the older I get, I'll learn more. I can keep my mind more active. But right now, it's in a quincunx. The sun is to the moon. And these energies is something about health, the health of something here, the health of self, because Chiron's in the first house. It's, is there ego? Is there pride? There's something here. It's your identity. Are you or are you acting like someone else? You got to decide who you are. What identity? You got to identify with who you are and figure it out. You're unique. We're all unique. That's the biggest thing. The moon, didn't change, did it? The moon starts to T-square Pluto now. So there's going to be some challenges coming up here. Are you working on healing? Are you ready for change? Are you ready for the end of something or a change or transformation, rebirth, rededication, or something here? Because there is that with Venus, but it's dealing with something here that the past and the future. I mean, we got a grand cross sitting here with T squares everywhere. This is going to might be a very rough day on the 20th. I need to start writing down when sunrise is on these things as well on my calendar. Because with this sun being in a quincunx, which is an inconjunct, I mean they're in two different opposite. It's like two different the sun's light compared to the moon's light. Okay. They're both very different in their illumination. One is very hot, fiery, initiating, uh, burning something up, um, passionate, rulership. And whereas the moon has that ambient of softness. So the two lights are colliding here. One's trying to take over the other. Because we're fixing to go into the equinox, the fall equinox. And the light's going to be, the time's going to change. Everything's going to be different. There'll be less of the sun, more of the moon. The next thing we have is the moon. I'm on the 20th. Oh, okay, I got that. The T square with Pluto. Um, I'm on my calendar. Sometimes the print's so small. Um, it looks like Pluto and Neptune look the same. I got to get a different color there for them. The moon now is going to ingress now into Taurus. So it's going to be something here, especially about our house of value, our values, and also what do we gained. And that's going to be at 5:02, and the sun is descending, is going now into Virgo. So the sun's going to be rising because you have to switch them around. If I did this every time wherever the ascending was, it would look so much different. And we do have a yod here because of Neptune sextiling Pluto. There's an in conjunction to the ascending. It's moving in there. So it's, time is changing now. And the next thing we have is Mars squares. It's in a, Mars is squaring Lilith. This is going to be sort of a challenge here about lessons you've learned. Are you dealing with something here that are you not letting something go that you or the partner not letting something go that you need to let go, that they need to let go of? That was something I used to say to the guy that I'm going with, or that I've been with so many years. When he would do things, and I'd say, just let it go, let it go. And sometimes he just couldn't let things go. He just on and on about it. And I was like, enough. And some people are like that. Remember, Mars is that energy of where it's the drive and the ambition. But there's also the opposition where you've got to stop something here that you just got to let something go. You got to stand your ground on something here. That either I'm going to stay here because it's what's best for me and my future. There's some things we can keep from the past. God, my eye looks terrible. I just noticed it, how bad it was looking. There's some things that are good for our future, but then there's things that we need to let go of. And so, I mean, let's put it like this. let's say you get in a relationship with somebody, and then you have friends that cause you because your relationship is so good and they can't find anybody. And so they're kind of jealous or resentful that everything's going good for you. It's like, okay, I'll give you a good example. When I started the channel years ago, I was going through a difficult time in my life. And it really helped me. It really helped me to start working on some things about me. Okay. But I would have people that would come to me and I would do readings for them and I would get to know them. And, they hadn't found anybody. They were in the same predicament or whatever. And they would find somebody. And I would be like, It was like they were all finding somebody and then they would just go off. No, there's like, they didn't need anything anymore. It didn't matter to them. I wasn't jealous. As a matter of fact, I would tell them, I'm happy for you. I hope it all works out for you. I wish you the best. You go live life. Go have fun. And then some of them, still, when's my time coming? When's my time? Your time comes when it's supposed to be your time. But there's something you have to do. And that was like me. I didn't look for going in that direction because I had to work on me. Because if I had gotten involved with someone else, it wouldn't have worked. And that's where you have to kind of look at things. You don't go on a trip and then come back home and you got a luggage full of dirty laundry. And I've said this many times before. And then all of a sudden you decide to go on the trip again and you take that dirty laundry with you. Why would you do that? You don't do that. So until you clean things up and make it healthy, do you actually go and move forward? And that was my biggest goal, for me to get healthy. The next thing we have is we have Venus. Now she's in a quincunx with this. It's almost like the divine is showing us that something's coming. Like pointing it out that there's going to be a change. Because this is dealing with Uranus in a sextile over to Neptune. Neptune in a sextile over to Pluto. Because this, very soon, next month, if I'm not mistaken, is going to go direct. Why Jupiter, I believe it is, goes retrograde. Yep. Jupiter will go retrograde first, and then Pluto will start going direct. So it's like that train. This is going to start going forward, then it connects here, this goes forward, and it goes on until everything begins to start going. It's like, it almost feels like things have slowed down so much. Time has slowed down. Nothing seems to be moving forward. We're not really going anywhere. It's because, like I said, the retrogrades is for us to take the time and slow down, to reevaluate and review all these things that have occurred, and now to restructure, look at the restructure things, to maybe reorganize before we move forward. And then we can say, okay, when we start to move forward now, we've reconciled all those differences. We've worked on it. That's why I said, embrace the retrogrades. Even though, like right now, I'm like with this election, God, I wish it would come. It'll be here before you know it. But it just seems like time is going so slow. And then it's going to feel like it's going so fast because things are going to be moving now. And then you're going to be like, well, where did time go? Okay. You can't have it both ways. So take these retrogrades as a blessing to learn from things from the past. Where you want to gain? What do you want to do? Where's your rewards coming from? How devoted are you? How much dedication do you have in something here? But we do have the finger of God again to Venus, because she's going to be moving into Scorpio. And there's going to be some issues because she's going to be in a water sign and Mars is going to be in a water sign. This may be a little difficult, the house and home and family, in the house of transformation and death. There's something here that is going to change, and it's going to go through the transformation, and then there will become the rebirth process. And sometimes it's very painful. Birthing is never easy unless you got through the knife, with C-section. Then you got all the pain sort of afterwards, after the birth. But it's something here that is going to challenge us in our responsibilities and our devotion and our dedication. And are we disciplined? And about our dreams and our imagination. What's real? What's not real? What are we putting too much uh, attention to? Or the glamour, the glitz, which is really all negative. That doesn't get you anywhere. Believe me, it don't. Some people, I mean, I guarantee you, if you ask any of these ones, if they didn't have things right in their life, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about, Taylor Swift, okay? And, all the songs that she's written is about, her bad relationships. Something tells me there's something wrong with her choice making. Maybe some of it's her, maybe some of it's them. But, they don't have it easy either. So all the money in the world and all the fame and fortune and all the glitz and glamour ain't all it's cracked up to be. And I guarantee you, anybody that comes from sort of a humble beginnings and they get there, it's harder on them because it's a cruel world out there. So don't envy them. Guarantee a lot of times they may envy you more. So there is going to be, this thing of a stubbornness, um, or a not willing to, probably somewhere where there's trying to hold on to the best of what there is, not wanting to let it go. But these planets, like I said, with Uranus and Neptune and Pluto, they're interpersonal planets. They will push you beyond the limits of something that may not be right for you, and you may have to release something that you may not want to. So what will you do? I don't know. It depends on how devoted you are to it. Does it hold that much value somewhere for you? Um, let's see. Those people, this kid's doing it. definitely moving on. Um, and this is where you're going to have to determine how important this is to you. We've also had the moon now in a quincunx with Lilith. Again, what are you really setting something here? Have you set down boundaries? Or are you not? Or are you refusing to set down the boundaries? I mean, to me, it's like with this moon being here exalted and it's in its perfection. What over here either isn't seeing it or seeing your value, or did they feel they're not being valued? Or are they working through something about you? The next one we have is the sun goes into opposition with Neptune. Again, this is that pull and tug, pull and tug. They're both at 28 degrees and 30. They're right on the edge of change. In a couple of days, the sun's going to go into Libra and we'll be in Libra season. I know that when there's going to be that time, we're going to have Neptune move into Aries and Saturn will follow. And they'll both be in there at 0 degrees. And that will sort of be a reset. A new beginning. And the sun is like, okay, it's time to move forward. All right, let's see what else we got. I'm having trouble concentrating here because I got 2 young girls out there hanging around in front of my house. I don't know what in the world, why they want to hang right here. I got the moon sextile and Mars. This is an opportunity to uh, analyze the situation and to see what action you're going to take. Feelings getting involved in something here. The moon sextiling Mars. Mars is sextiling with Mercury. Or it's coming from both sides, really. Um, oh, it's Vesta. I thought it was Mercury. Okay, Mercury's up there with a lot of fortune. So it's the moon sextiling Mars. Mars is sextiling Vesta. It's questioning devotion here. Intentions. You remember, Mars is the one who initiates things. It takes the action. It's driven to do something. And the moon being exalted here, it's like, emotionally is getting what you feel you need. Going after something. Because you're so devoted to it. And again, we've got that triune that's going on here with the moon to Vista, the moon to the midheaven. and vista to the midheaven. It's really driven something here in your role, and that you really want to expand. You want it to grow, whatever it is. All right, let's go to the last day, which is the 21st. Oops. We've got Mercury squaring Jupiter. Thinking about this, because now Mercury's coming into conjunct with the sun, getting closer and closer to the sun. And these two are going to come into conjunction. And it's going to bring something, a focus, or to the attention of the consciousness, being aware of something here, seeing it for what it really truly is. What's holding you back? We got the moon sextiling with Saturn. Again, there's an opportunity for growth, expansion, or productivity and success, but you're going to have to activate your mind. You're going to have to really focus on something here. And be devoted. Are you really devoted to this? Are you really dedicated to this? Again, we have also the moon in that triune with Mercury as well. This there. Because now Mercury is in this part of, or the lot of fortune, part of fortune. It's showing something of your real talent here of analyzing something. And if you want this, I think this would be a very good time that you'd be able to get it, especially. But you've got to be really dedicated and really, really, truly want this, whatever it may be. Because trines are also opportunities as well. It's an opportunity that you shouldn't want to miss. The next thing we have Venus in a quincunx with Neptune. Oh, didn't do it. Okay, Venus in a quincunx. Again, we have like the yod here to Venus again. I'm trying to see if there's another one. No, there is some inconjunct. It's that Uranus. Venus in conjunct with Neptune here. Venus is also in a quincunx with Uranus, so about the change. You're reassessing these things, you're reevaluating something here in your partnership, your relationships. Then the final thing we have for the end of the week is Mercury in a quincunx with Chiron. Again, and there's a yod there as well. So it is about something here of your role in society, about helping, you could either be helping others to heal, succeed in some way. But there's all this combined energy of Mercury conjunct with the sun, and then the sun conjunct with Lilith in the south node. So something is, it's almost making me feel like something's being pointed out to you, not to get yourself hurt again, not to create wounds. Don't don't keep reliving the wounds. Don't keep creating the same habits over and over again, or letting the same thing go on and on and on, and not doing something about it. I mean, I see there's opportunities here. Like I said, and a time to cut some things loose that need to be cut loose. Time to embrace all these retrogrades and take them in, and um, just the big thing I want to say is don't ignore the retrogrades. Don't get upset about them. Look for them to help you. They're like tools that are there for you to slow things down, so you're not going to hit a brick wall or run out of gas, run out of energy. This is where you really, really, really need to take on these retrogrades and really do put the work in. Devote yourself to it, to changing your life. And then how are you going to resolve that or reconcile that of what you already been through, that now you can take it out into the world? Um, that you can take that, what you've learned, and bring it out into the world, and how your role in society can help others just by what you've been through. But it's up to you. It's always up to you. Okay, I'm going to end this now because that ends the week, and then I will do tomorrow. I'm going to do, which will be on Sunday. I'll go ahead and start working on the final week of the last week of this month, and then that give me time to start setting up for October and doing all my stuff and getting it all together. And I appreciate y'all being here. I appreciate y'all viewing this. I hope you've learned something from it. But it gives you a way that now, instead of having to do everything, at one 1 month, it gives you a week to look at and see what's going on. And take it all in, and look at things, work through it. I know you can. I mean, I've been doing it. And it's, even sometimes sitting here talking to you about it and showing you the things, it kind of helps me to say, I might need to go back and look at that a little bit and see how, like I said, I'll be 65 this year, or this coming week. And I don't feel, that when I was younger, I used to say 65, that's old. I don't really feel old. I know I have limits and limitations now that I am older. But my heart is still like 30 years old. I don't, my hair's gotten grayer and all that. I mean, I've always had gray in my hair that I can even remember. Even my niece, being born on the same day I was born, she even has got the same initial gray streak that started with me right here. She's gotten her hair as well. So, I don't know if all Virgos have got that gray streak, but, I don't know about it. But it's like I learn too as this is going along. It helps me work through some things too that I might need to. Something comes up, and it clicks something in my head that says you need to relook at something here. So it helps. And so hopefully this can help you as well, as by going through that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end this, and I will see you guys. I'll be around. I'm not really going anywhere. And I'll be working on next week, and then getting ready for next month and all that, because I got some other things I got to do too. So anyway, y'all take care, and I will see you guys later. Bye for now.